Today, something a little different. Lots of Porsches, a couple of Ferraris, a Dino, and not much me. Hi there. Porsches sold on Ring a Trailer include a Maraschino red 1988 944S with 81,000 miles that sold for $9,550. I had a 944S in this color combo that I purchased about 20 years ago, but I left out the door-to-door dash carpet. They are not exceptionally quick. They have decent handling. This was a bargain. Further along the 944 evolution is the 968. This is a black over cashmere beige 1994 Cabriolet with 57,000 miles that sold for $21,000. Let's audibly step into the listing. This is from the startup video, and this continues for nearly a minute. Close the door. This was a fair sale on a clean car. Black mats. A stone gray 1986 944 Turbo with 64,000 miles sold for $23,000. A fair sale. This color is less common than most. A seal gray over black 2004 911 C4S Cabriolet with 85,000 miles sold for $25,388. A poor baby with cataracts. This was a steal. Well purchased. A Guards Red 9,000 mile 1981 924 Turbo sold for $30,000. 924 turbos in this condition are hard to find, and this was a fair sale. A seal gray over black 46,000 mile 2006 911 S Cabriolet sold for $38,500. Love it. This was well purchased. A Grand Prix white over black 1987 911 Targa with 106,000 miles sold for $58,000. An open top 911 in good shape. This was a fair sale. Another Grand Prix white cab. This over cashmere beige 1994 911 Cabriolet with 64,000 miles, again, sold for $62,500. Another fair sale on a nice 964. This wouldn't be my color choice, but it is clean. This color combo works. A slate gray over black 1984 911 Cabriolet with 63,000 miles, almost, sold for $63,000. A fair sale. I think there's value in spades here for these 3.2 cabs. A gentian blue over Luxor beige 1800 mile 2022 Boxster sold for $68,000. Sticker was $79,000. This was full retail on the high side of fair. A slate gray 37,000 mile 2003 911 Turbo Coupe X50 Aero Kit sold for $85,000. This was well sold. Aero kits and X50 power kits on the same vehicle are not typical, and I like it. An Aquarius Blue 2005 911 Coupe with 13,000 miles presented by a great seller sold for $86,000. Big money for a paint-to-sample car that stickered for $79,000 20 years ago, and it looks like it did then too. This 997 was well sold. An Iris Blue 1985 911 Coupe M491 with 137,000 miles sold for $88,000. I owned a narrow body near twin to this. I had the much more attractive whale tail, and this sound brings back memories. This was a fair sale despite the miles. An ice green Rest of World 1977 911 Carrera 3.0 Coupe with 139,000 kilometers sold for $91,500. It's memory lane. I owned an oak green Targa version of this car and never realized its rarity and sold it for a song. This car, in much more attractive ice green, is lovely despite lacking sports seats. This was a fair sale. A Signal Orange 1970 914-6 sold for $93,000. With engine and transmission rebuilds completed in the past couple of years, along with interior work and a repaint a decade ago, this should prove roadworthy for a while. This was a fair sale. A mostly ruby red Safari style 1983 911 SC Coupe presented by a great seller sold for $135,000. This is an interesting build, and it sounds nice. Look at those seats. This was likely a fair sale. A supposedly GT Silver 2018 911 GT3 with 6,000 miles sold for $170,000. Sold here in March for $181,000. There was an undisclosed engine replacement in that sale. The original engine failed at 10,800 RPM, and a replacement was fitted. It's surprising that the value only dropped $11,000. This was well sold. A black, modified U.S. market 1997 911 Turbo with 75,000 miles, located in France, sold for $197,000. A lighter sale price than most of this ilk, location definitely played a role. A basalt black 7,000 mile 2010 911 GT3 presented by a great seller, sold for $217,500. The sticker here was $136,000. This like new 997 was well sold. A graphite blue 2018 911 GT3 Touring with 3,000 miles sold for $228,000. Sold here in 2022 for $246,000 with just over 2,000 miles. This was a fair sale relative to 991 GT3 Touring cars. Still well sold to me, as sticker was $168,000. A Ruby Stone 1992 911 Carrera RS with 115,000 kilometers sold for $248,964. Regular RSs regularly sell for $200,000, while special colors like Ruby Stone push $250,000. Look at these seats. This was a fair sale. A Polo Red 1967 911S soft window Targa sold for $265,000. One of 483. This was sold here last year for $258,000. This was a fair sale, but to me, way too much. An Amethyst 2022 911 GT3 Touring with 4,600 miles sold for $285,000. A paint to sample car that's stickered at $238,000. This is a double whammy, the special paint on top of a Touring GT3. This 992 was well sold. Another paint to sample car, this a slate gray over black and houndstooth 2019 911 Speedster with 6,000 miles, presented by a great seller, sold for $367,000. Sticker here was $322,000, so a premium, yes, for this limited production one of 1948 supercar. Well sold. For Ferrari, a narrow 1978 308 GT4 with 62,000 miles sold for $79,308. This has had a repaint in the past and it looks very nice. This was on the high side of fair and it looks solid while being exercised. A Verde Mugello over Cuyo 39,000 kilometer 1997 F355 GTS located in Germany sold for $263,000. Low miles, attractive color combo to many, well sold. A repainted orange 1971 Dino 246 GT with 39,000 kilometers sold for $451,000. Beautiful. Edging toward $500,000 is heady territory, and it's about right for this, perhaps on the low side. Meanwhile, back on Earth, on Cars and Bids, an Atlas Gray 2005 Porsche 911 with 127,000 miles sold for $28,000. Fitted with special cocoa leather, this is a bargain in 997 land. A Rosso Corsa 1997 Ferrari 550 Maranello with 30,000 miles sold for $117,550. Not a perfect example, this was a bargain price. On PCarMarket, another bargain, an Arena Red over Classic Gray 1997 Porsche 911 Cabriolet with 109,000 miles sold for $45,000. Yep, bargain 993. A Carmen Red over Black 26,000 mile 2004 911 Turbo Cabriolet sold for $71,000. A bit of a high price for this turbo cab, the paint really pops. A silver 48,000 mile 1989 911 25th Anniversary Edition sold for $100,000. One of 500 sold without any records. This was well sold. A Tangerine modified 1971 911T Coupe Carrera RS Tribute 2.7 liter sold for $121,000. It's a looker, especially in Tangerine, and it seems okay and well sold. A Polar Silver 26,000 mile 1992 911 Carrera RS sold for $236,500. The engine has been resealed and it's been repainted. Look, seats. Very, very nice and a fair sale. I'll compare today's RSs in today's short. I selected a few cars that failed to meet reserves on Bring a Trailer May 14th to 22nd. A white 2001 Porsche 911 GT3 Cup Super GT300 race car located in Japan was bid to $42,500. A basalt black 37,000 mile 2011 911 Turbo Coupe was bid to $119,972. A Grand Prix white over black 1988 911 Turbo Cab M505 slant nose with 60,000 miles was bid to $125,930. A sport gray 2023 911 Sport Classic with 154 miles was bid to $442,000. One of 1,250, these are specially optioned 992 Turbo S's. Sticker was $281. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Be well.